special about UCLA?
It's a great university. A magic place for public education.
It's a place where you can do and be anything.
Everyone can speak from their perspective.
In the 20 years that I've been here, I've never had any doors shut.
You could jump from econ to archaeology to philosophy and know that you're going to get the bang for your buck. UCLA definitely is a place that encourages us to go beyond the disciplinary boundaries.
And it doesn't hurt that the sun shines like 312 days a year. You know, that helps.
At any point in time, there's probably at least 5,000 different research projects going on campus.
If we want to do nanotechnology, we have to, forget about the concept physics is physics, chemistry is chemistry. So we need a hybrid type of art-science approach.
We have one of the top-ranked medical centers in the world. I think we're making history every day. The most esoteric of diseases to the most common of medical problems can be treated under one roof.
You have truly a diverse, technologically sophisticated research university that's in the heart of a global world city. That's exciting.
UCLA was the first university to reach 100 NCAA national championships. You are part of this Bruin family and this Bruin community. Being a student athlete at UCLA has prepared me for the future. I'll be excited to look back 20 years and say I was a part of that, and I still am a part of it. Coming into a tradition that already produced accomplished people such as Jackie Robinson, Coach John Wooden, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, it's made you want to perform that much better and carry on the legacy.
When there's a serious issue that faces this city or this region, people automatically turn to UCLA.
UCLA has a major impact on the economy of Southern California and the country.
This is such a diverse place, not only to interact with other people, but also to go get involved in Los Angeles. So many avenues and so many organizations, and that really allowed me to directly start working with the community.
I am a neurosurgeon.
I'm a composer.
I'm the director of the Broad Stem Cell Research Center.
I'm in the emotional transportation business.
And we all cooperate with one another, which makes the experience richer for the student.
Who has got the creativity and imagination to come up with the next killer application that's going to change this planet?
We have an impact. We're training the future generation of scientists and other creative people.
I let them know on the first day, the state of California has hired me to work for you.
I learn from them, and they learn from me.
When you acquire knowledge, it's your responsibility to keep it. That is the idea. A journey for the creation of excellence.
Thank you for coming to the UCLA Study Abroad information session today. I'd like to invite Professor Jeffrey Garrett, who's the CEO of the US Study Center, just to give us an introduction and a background into the program. Thanks, Jeff.
So I'm here wearing at least 3 hats today. First hat is that I'm CEO of the US Study Center. Second, I've just become Dean of the Business School. But third, and most importantly for today, I think I probably have more experience in Los Angeles and UCLA than anyone else in the room, because I lived in Los Angeles for 9 years in the 2000s, and for 5 of those years I worked at UCLA. I think you all know the cliche about not only studying overseas but living overseas, which is that it will be for you a life-changing experience. Let me just underline that. It's bound to be true. I think you'll hear from some students who can attest to that. But people like me always say that to students, and the great thing about studying overseas is that you all come back feeling exactly that way. So why the US and why LA and why UCLA? You know, there's a lot of concern in Australia these days that the US is so last century and China is our future. I actually think we're going to be living for a long time in a G2 world in which the interactions between China and the US will not only be the most important thing for the world, they'll be the most important thing for Australia too, and for the whole of the Asia Pacific. Los Angeles is by far the Asian gateway of the US. It's an extraordinarily multicultural environment that, in addition to a very large Asian mindset and Asian population, has the largest urban concentration of Latinos in the US, now the US's largest minority group. It has a history of incredibly powerful, in civic and politics, African Americans. LA literally is the global melting pot in the US with an Asia focus. You know, if anyone, I don't know whether any of you have been to LA as a tourist, but it's a terrible place to be a tourist because you think you can drive from the Santa Monica Pier to Disneyland and they're both in LA. You can do that. What people don't tell you is you spend 3 hours in gridlock traffic on freeways to do that. What it actually means about LA is that for Angelenos, first of all, there's this massive disconnect between what you see portrayed in Hollywood and what you think about Disneyland and life on the ground. You know, Angelenos are a lot like Sydney-siders. They're into weather, they're into culture, they're into coffee, they're into the ocean. But they're also very neighborhoody people. So let's go to UCLA. UCLA is in what's called West Los Angeles. It is below Bel Air and Beverly Hills, where all the movie stars live. It's quite close to the Sunset Strip if you wanted to go and see the global center of clubs. It's about 20 minutes from the beach in Santa Monica. What else can I tell you about where it is? If you go on this program, I can guarantee you, you will not have to take an umbrella because it does not rain in Los Angeles sometime from about the 1st of May to the 1st of October. You can almost be guaranteed that it will never rain. When I lived in LA, weather is something you don't think about. It's the same every day. It's warm and sunny, and the only question is whether that stuff was fog or smog that you saw in the opening shot about LA. So UCLA is positioned in West Los Angeles. It's a fantastic place. You've got everything. In a 20-minute circle from UCLA, you can get to a hell of a lot of interesting stuff. The only thing that you don't get to is downtown LA, which is about 12 miles, but 2 hours to your east, depending on the traffic at that time of day. UCLA is, I think Amber has in the promotional material that UCLA is the number 13 university in the world at the moment. What that doesn't tell you is that almost all of the ones above it are private universities, private American universities plus Oxford and Cambridge. If you're talking about a public university that has people just like you there, UCLA is right at the very top. In fact, in the US, there'd only be 3 universities in that league table. There's the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, there's the University of California, Berkeley in the San Francisco Bay Area, and there's UCLA in Southern California. If you have to ask me, and I've lived in at least 2 of those places where I'd rather be in LA. I think it's a fantastic place. So this is an extraordinary opportunity. What we have brokered for you here is access to the entire UCLA summer school curriculum, which is a really big enterprise. And if you're there, not only will you meet University of California students from the entire UC system, which is not only UCLA, but Berkeley and San Diego and Irvine and all these other places, but you'll also meet lots and lots of other international students who come into LA in the summer, and in fact students from all over the US who come back to live in greater LA for the summer. So not only will you get access to these high-end academics who were in the promotional video, but you'll get access to a slice of American collegiate life and international university undergraduate life that I don't think you could match literally anywhere else in the US and probably in the world. So this is a great opportunity. UCLA is a great place. And LA belies all the stereotypes out there. It's a terrible place to be a tourist, but it's a fantastic place to live. And if you're on this program, you'd be living with other students in Westwood, in West Los Angeles, one of the most dynamic places on earth. So I'll stop there, Amber. If I said everything I should say? Okay.
I'd like to now introduce Dr. Leanne Piggott, who is the Director of the Business Programs Unit at the Business School. And Leanne's a very special person because she actually goes with our Washington DC interns every year and spearheads that program over there. And she's going to share with you what she thinks are the academic benefits of a program like this nature. Thanks, Leanne.
Thanks, Amber. Amber's right that I travel in January each year to take 20 of our students to Washington DC, but interestingly I've just come back from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. The reason why it's relevant is because it's directly linked to the first point I wanted to make. In addition to all of the great opportunities that Jeff has just spoken about, I want to mention three. One that he linked to, which was that UCLA is ranked number 13 in the world. Why is it relevant? And why is it relevant to the fact that I just got back from Riyadh? While I was in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, I attended an international education exhibition, and the Saudi government invited the top 100 universities around the world to exhibit, and then invited students from all around the region to come and talk about the prospects of studying abroad at these universities. And the reason they do that is because increasingly all around the world, the global marketplace is becoming more and more competitive. And what that means is that when you graduate and you put your CV forward to a prospective employee, they're going to look at not just what you studied, but where you studied. And the fact that you are already studying at one of the top 50 universities in the world is already a great thing. But to add to your CV, the fact that you studied also at the 13th top university in the world will make it even more special. So let me encourage you to go and study with some of the brightest that the US has to offer, and to add that to your CV when you get back and when you graduate. So that was my first point. The second point that jumped out at me from the video was that UCLA is particular because it allows you to cross disciplines as you study, quote unquote, with great ease. It jumped out at me because at universities it's often very difficult to cross over disciplinary boundaries, meaning it's difficult to study history and then to study economics, to study business, study finance and accounting, and then to study something from philosophy and from art history and from cinema or whatever, and mix it all up in your degree. It's very, very difficult. Unless you're doing a combined degree at somewhere like the University of Sydney, it's particularly difficult. So by going to UCLA for the summer program, the second point that I want to raise is that it gives you that opportunity to cross these disciplinary boundaries within a university that is so used to doing that and is expecting you in the classroom to be coming from a different discipline and for you to contribute your disciplinary background to the conversation and the learning in the classroom. So that's really important. And again, why? Because employees are looking for students who are coming out of universities not just knowing technical knowledge, but having a much broader worldwide experience and knowledge. So by having the opportunity to go to UCLA, studying in a very multicultural classroom, as Jeff said, provides that opportunity for you when you go to your employer and say, look, this is what I've been doing, and to say I've studied in this classroom is a great thing. The third thing that I wanted to mention is that by studying 2 subjects, getting credit for 2 subjects while you're there, so you'll come back with 12 credit points on your transcript, that enables you to do two of the following things. Either to accelerate your degree program and pick up another 1 or 2 subjects either in summer or winter school, and therefore graduate a semester early, or you could just chill out a little bit, as the Californians would like to do, and take it easier in the semesters that follow your return. So you might take 3 and 4 instead of 4 subjects. So for those, I wanted to focus mainly on the impact that this program can have on your employability prospects, the impact it will have, the rich impact it will have on your education experience, and what that might be for when you get back. So that's what I have to say about this program. Go for it.
Thanks, Leanne. Now I'd actually like to bring up some students to share with you about their experience. They're all students that went on our Washington DC internship program, and you'll see a quote up the top there, and it's from John, who couldn't be here with us today, but this was the title of his final blog, which was I've Fallen in Love, Her Name is America. And I thought it was important for all of you to hear from our students what a great time they had when they were there. Although the UCLA program and the Washington program is slightly different, given there's an internship component with the Washington program, the study abroad and the life experience, the college experience is exactly the same. And so we've got 3 students that I'm going to share with you. The first is Patrick Desmond. Do you want to come up, Patrick? And Patrick's going to share with you a little bit about why he chose to participate in the Washington program and give you some advice and thoughts on that. Do you want to do that, Jen?
Too easy. Alright, hi there, my name is Patrick Desmond. I am currently in my 3rd year of a Commerce Liberal Studies degree, and I was lucky enough to be on the first Washington DC program that happened at the start of last year. Now, what I want to talk to you about is my reasons for applying and sort of the application process and how you can really get it all done and get out there so you can have such a good experience overseas. For us, it was a very quick turnaround for our application. We had to apply in September and then fly out in December, you know, not really knowing where we were going or what we were facing. But it really was an easy process and we had the time of our lives. Before I applied, I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to go on the program. It was a funny story really. I was at work and I had a mate who'd just come back from 6 months exchange in Miami, and he pretty much said to me, "Buddy, Pat, you've got to go on exchange, you've got to travel more, and just got to go to America because you're going to love it." And you know, that kicked me into gear. I saw this program being advertised and I thought, this is a great opportunity for students to take place. The main benefits I saw were that you get 3 extra subjects in the Washington DC program, or 2 extra subjects in this, that can really supplement your current studies. So I got to come back here and take it a bit easy. I do 3 subjects a semester, and that really lightens your workload and lets you focus more on your other academics. Other than that though, the program really gives you benefits in the experiences you gain, and that is the main reason why I wanted to apply. I got to see the world, I got to spend 10 weeks in an internship, I got to study with students from the UC system, and I've come back now, you know, really wanting to focus on a global career and looking at my global perspective. And that really is the best benefit of this program. In terms of the application itself though, it really isn't too hard to do, and it's something that you should just do. It'll take you 1 day, and if you do get the chance to go on this program, you'll never regret it. The main thing you want to focus on is just getting down your experiences and focusing on why you want to go. And then once you smash out that application in 1 day, you'll be set. You might get lucky to get the call up and head over to LA. Which, speaking of LA, I was lucky enough to go back to America earlier this year. And I spent a week on the UCLA campus, staying with some friends, and as Jeff said, it really is an amazing place. I was there in winter, and it was summer here, and it was 25 degrees Celsius, whereas it was flooding in Sydney, you know? That was the sort of weather that we had over there. And I got to stay on campus, experience it all, and it really was a magical place. It's a lot like Sydney University, just a lot bigger. So, thanks for listening to me. I hope you have a great time and apply. Cheers.
Thanks, Pat. I'd like to now invite Kate Spierard. Kate actually just got back from Washington, so she's Patrick was in our first cohort, but Kate's just back, and she's going to share with you about her experiences with living with Americans and experiencing Washington.
Okay. Hi guys. So I'm going to tell you why spending your winter break at UCLA will be amazing for more reasons than just escaping the Sydney cold. So I applied for the DC program, having never lived away from home and knowing very little about Americans aside from what I'd seen on TV and the movies. So basically I ended up in America feeling a bit like Katie Harron at the beginning of Mean Girls, worried that I was being thrown into a jungle of jocks and preppy cheerleaders. Thankfully this was not the case. Rather, college life and all it entailed ended up being among the highlights of my trip. I roomed with 3 girls from the University of California system, and they're now my good friends. There were social events all the time. They were definitely not wanting. And my roomies introduced me to the culinary delights that are peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and Sprinkles cupcakes, which they have in California. So if you go, you should definitely check and steering me away from Safeway supermarkets towards Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, which I would definitely recommend if you're there and cooking for yourself. Now, in addition to having my roommates and college friends to show me the ropes, the Residence Life office was also an enormous help. I'm not sure if they have these on all UCal campuses, but they'll definitely have something similar. And they organised a number of events for us while we were there, from a mixer in the first week, which featured root beer floats. I wouldn't recommend those, one of my favourite. And then they screened the Super Bowl for us and funded an Australia Day party, which was great. The Residence Life office is also useful for advice on where to go and what to do in the area. So we sometimes had time on the weekend to sightsee in the area or even venture to another city to explore. So I imagine in UCLA you also have time on the weekends to go and see the city proper or even travel somewhere else close by. Our living arrangements on campus were kind of like service apartments in that we cooked for ourselves, but we had our kitchen floors and bathrooms cleaned for us once a week. So in terms of campus living, it was pretty cushy and filled with great people, making my first living out of home experience a breeze. So another aspect of the program, which I was apprehensive about, was studying alongside American students and how that would be different from studying here. So the class sizes were very small, with about 25 students enrolled in my elective subjects. And we were warned that everyone was expected to contribute to class discussion, which I assumed to mean was kind of like here, where people don't really contribute that much, and we often have ghostly quiet tutorials. But this was so different in America. Whenever the professor asked a question, everybody's hand would go up. Everybody knew the answer, well, thought they knew the answer, and would contribute with full confidence and opinions. So the often heated debates and small class sizes made the subjects very interesting in a different sort of way to what you have at Sydney University. So overall, in terms of campus living, studying, and the people, the US is just full of opportunities. From my experience, the campus staff, they want to make your life as comfortable as possible. The professors are extremely passionate and all well informed, and the other students were friendly, confident, and not at all like Regina George. So my advice to you is to grab this opportunity with two hands and get involved in what will undoubtedly be one of the most fun and exciting experiences of your life.
Thanks, Kate. And may I add, at UCLA you don't have to do your own cooking. Meals are included. So that is definitely a bonus. And the next person I'd like to introduce is Stuart Robertson. Stu also just got back from Washington, and he's going to share with you some exciting opportunities that came out of that experience.
Oh, that's great. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stuart Robertson, and I just got back from Washington, D.C. Now, studying in America, in summary, just opened me up to opportunities that I didn't even know existed. I was actually lucky to do two. I did one through the international office at the University of North Carolina in 2009, and then, earlier this year at UC-DC. And I sort of thought when I went over there that it would be really good for me to educate Americans about Australia and about the world and teach them about parliamentary system versus presidential system, and that university on hex is actually a really good idea, and that rugby is actually a real sport. But when I was over there, I found myself learning a lot more than I expected. And what I mean by that, I think, was aptly described to me this morning. I was having breakfast with a guy who used to be an advisor at the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and I was swapping stories about DC. He obviously had a much different experience to myself, but he described the US as a place of impact. And it's something that I think is really true. I mean, my experience, my roommates had, they did learn that Australians occasionally ride urban kangaroos to school, but also I sort of learned that the jobs that they were applying for weren't even on my radar. In North Carolina, my roommate Stephen was until recently working at NASA, and my roommate Travis, at the end of his internship in DC, was offered a role at the Department of Justice. I mean, both of those organisations have a true global impact, and I hadn't even thought of applying for somewhere like that. But when I was over there, I thought, why can't I do that if they're doing that? So that's why next Friday I'm actually getting on a plane, leaving here, and flying back to the States to try and grab an opportunity similar for myself. So if there's two things that I would want me to say to you if I was sitting where you were, I would want to know that the US is a place of impact, and it is very accessible to Australians. There's multiple visa options, which, if any of you are interested, I'd be happy to talk about afterwards. I did quite a bit of research. And the other one is that exchange, like the one that I went on through the US Study Centre and the business school, will open doors that you didn't even know existed. So I would highly recommend the program.
Thanks, Stu. That was, I hope you got a good snapshot from our students about the benefits of a program of this type. And I know you're all dying to hear about the program details, so I'm going to do that right now. You would have seen a lot of this around, so I won't dwell on it too much, but I think it's really important to highlight the key benefits of this program. Gaining invaluable international experience, I think, is the core element of this program. And all of the students, I've worked on the Washington program for the last 2 years, and all the students come back, and that's the one big thing that they have to report back and say, you know what, getting that international experience and a new perspective was just more than I could have hoped for, and was an incredible opportunity. The other thing is what Leanne and Jeff have also said about UCLA and how highly it's ranked, so I won't dwell on that. Now, living on campus and the American college life experience, let me say, while you're going to the UCLA summer sessions, and that's not the regular academic session there at UCLA, most UCLA students actually are there during that time because they've used that time to accelerate their degree, and you'll be studying with 10,000 other UCLA students. So don't feel like it'll just be a whole bunch of international students similar to our summer school here. It's actually an incredible experience and a full American college life experience. Receiving credit towards your degree at Sydney, I think this is incredibly important. Stu said exchange, and at the end there, and this program is actually not an exchange program, it's a study abroad program that the centre has customised so that it's fully integrated into what we call the at-home curriculum. I think that's important. You will receive credit for what you do over there, and that opportunity to accelerate your degree means that when you come back in second semester or even towards throughout the rest of your degree, you can focus on working part-time and maybe trying to pay back your parents for the cost of this program. But you know, there is that great flexibility that this program affords you. Spending your winter break enjoying the Californian summer. We didn't get a decent summer this year. It was more like winter. So why not go over there and enjoy, as Jeff said, some of the best weather you'll find anywhere in the world. And finally, making long-lasting US connections and friendships. You would have heard Pat saying that he went and stayed at UCLA this year, and he did that because he made all of these connections and friendships when he was over at Washington. And we have a few other students who have just come back and said, you know what, I made all these great friends, and now I call them up and say, I'm coming to stay with you. So, you know, that's another great benefit. Just a little bit of information on how this program came about. We approached UCLA because of Jeff's connections and found out that there is no actual partnership of this type with any other Australian university. So it is truly a unique opportunity for University of Sydney students, and I think that's important to highlight. It's exclusively offered this time around to arts and social sciences students. I know I've heard from a lot of you going, why can't I go to Washington? Here's a program for you. The other thing, it's a group study abroad program. I think this is really different to exchange in that you're not on your own. You're not there, you know, going through this process for a year, all the paperwork, and then going there by yourself. You're actually going as part of a group. And I think that's what all of the Washington interns really took out of their experience. They became a family, and they got to do things together. And the last thing is, obviously, it's completed in your winter break, so you're not missing out on any semester time. The program is 6 weeks. Now, I know you're saying, okay, well, I know the winter break's not that long, so how does it work? It does eat into a little bit of the exam period, but we will work with you if your exam fits in that time and organise alternative arrangements. It also means you will miss your first week of semester. But that's okay, as the Washington interns will tell you. You know, it's not a huge disadvantage to you. You will receive 12 credit points. So how that works is you will do 2 UCLA subjects, and a few of you have said to me, I went on the website and some will work 4 units at UCLA and 8 units, 15 units, it's all really confusing. The units, the ones that are weighted 4 units are actually equivalent to 6 credit point unit of study here at the University of Sydney. So you'll do 2 subjects which will work 4 units each at UCLA, and that will equate to what's done here. You'll get to choose from over 250 subject options. Okay, it's very much a liberal arts program at UCLA in the summer. There's a huge range of subjects across the humanities. Having said that, there's a lot of sciences and other things that you can do there. Accommodation, and most of your meals on campus are also included, and that's a great plus. I was at UCLA earlier this year and last year, and I spoke to a lot of students, and they all said to me, the one thing we can't complain about at UCLA is how good the food is here. So that's good to know. Pre-departure seminars and also some cultural activities in LA. We will be supporting you all the way through this journey, and we have an academic that will be going over with you, and she will be teaching some seminars before you go so that you're up to speed on US culture and society and politics and history, and while you're there giving you some cultural tours so you get to see the area. The full list of units will be available on the US Study Centre website shortly. As I said, you must complete 2 units of study. Now there's a couple of things that are different for art students and business students, okay? So for art students, you need to get the relevant department permission for any unit of study that you want to do before you go, okay? And we'll help you with that process. There's a form that we've created, and once you get that departmental permission, you just submit it to the faculty office. For business students, all of the subjects will be counted as unspecified electives unless you can get you get your departmental permission form signed off for a particular unit. Okay, that's important to know. Moving on, accommodation. At UCLA, where the accommodation is situated, they lovingly refer to on the hill. And there are 9,500 students that live on the hill at UCLA. You get to live with all of them. All of the on-campus accommodation is furnished, and there's 2 options, the residence halls and the suites. You can choose a triple room or a double room. The triple room is slightly cramped, but I'm told it's a fun bonding experience. I'm about to show you a video and you'll hear some students talking about that. But you know, the experience is great whether you're in a triple room or a double room, and it's up to you what you prefer. Meals are included in the accommodation choice, and you've got the option to go with 21 meals a week, 15 or 11. UCLA recommends 11 based on experience with students. Most go away for the weekend or skip meals, so we recommend 11 meals per week, but I'll go through all of that in a second. And you can see that the recommended there, double room and a residential suite with 11 meals per week. And if you want to go, we really strongly recommend that you go to the housing website and have a look at the different, they've got virtual tours, they've got students talking about their experience. But I'll show you a short video now, which will give you a little bit of an insight into housing at UCLA.
Libraries, and recreation facilities. UCLA has 3 different types of on-campus housing: residence halls, residential plazas, and residential suites. All the rooms come furnished, have high-speed internet access, and cable TV. One of the best things about living on campus is the food. Students can choose from a variety of meal plans and eat at any of the 4 residential restaurants located up on the hill.
Or you can choose from one of our quick service restaurants for food on the go. For all students living on campus, there's easy access to computer labs, tutoring services, and lots of places to study. Everything you'll need to be successful in the classroom.
You're also close to Sunset Rec Center, where you can play tennis, go swimming, or just hang out with friends.
Okay, moving later on. So that's just giving you a little bit of an overview of the program, but I know you want to know the costs. So we've broken these costs down. We don't believe that one size fits all, and so we've made the program cost as flexible as possible. How we've done that, we have a fixed fee package for your tuition, and then we let you choose your accommodation options and also your own airfares. So you'll see that table up there outlines the different things that are included in the fixed fee package, and as you can see, the figure being $3,950, and that's actually a really good deal. Like, if you think what you pay for 2 subjects here at the University of Sydney, and then throw in all the other things that you get, so the health insurance, travel insurance, your administrative fees, your Bruin card, and once you start studying at UCLA, you will be known as a Bruin. I'll show you a picture later to explain what the Bruin means. and the pre-departure seminars and cultural tours that I explained earlier. And actually the Bruin card also includes free access to gym, all the gyms on campus, and other benefits there. So, and your blue bus card as well. That's important. These are the different accommodation types that I alluded to earlier. As you can see, they vary quite greatly depending on what you choose. The one highlighted in red is the one that we recommend. However, it really depends on what fits your needs and your budget. And as you can see, you've got the cheaper option there being the residential hall, triple room at around the $1,600 mark, and you can go up to $3,000 depending on what you would like. So the total cost for the tuition and the accommodation, all those things that were listed previously, could vary anywhere from $5,500 to about the $6,900 mark. There's some other additional costs, things like your visa, your airfares. Now we can make a group booking option available if there's enough people that would like to do that, and your entertainment and any other costs that you accumulate while at UCLA, although these should be very minimal. Okay, are you eligible? You're eligible if you are currently enrolled in either the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences or the Business School. So I've had some students say to me, well, I'm doing a science degree, but I'm doing art subjects. Am I eligible? Unfortunately not, okay? You have to be in a degree and currently enrolled in one of these faculties. You must have completed at least 48 credit points of study. Now the reason we do that is because if you started this year, you don't actually have any results to show for at this stage. You only get those after the program starts. If you're a first year student and you're sitting here and going, oh, well that counts me out, at least you've heard all of the information for next year, because this program will definitely be offered again. We hope so anyway, and I'm sure we will. Have a minimum credit average, so that's your WAM. Demonstrate potentially an outstanding ambassador. Obviously when you go over there, you're representing the US Study Centre and the University of Sydney, and to ensure the continuation of this program, we want to send our best students. Desirable cultural understanding and awareness, and also if you've done any US Study Centre units. It's really easy to apply, as Pat said. All you have to do is go onto the US Study Centre website, which you will be to register for this session, and submit an online application. That is not open as yet. It will be open tomorrow, in fairness to the students that will be coming to that information session, and then you've got a couple of weeks to submit that. Some important dates here. I know there's a lot of them, but they'll all be available on the website. The reason I put them all up here is you need to make sure that you can commit to these dates before you go, okay? The worst thing is going through the whole process and then realising there's something here that you just can't be away from. So please check that before you submit your application. Your next steps, Your next steps, apply. Visit the US Study Centre website and apply. All the program conditions and guidelines will be up there, all the units of study, everything you need to know tomorrow afternoon. If you've got any questions, we're here to help. Just submit your inquiry through the online application form.